In today's video, we're going to take these sad, depressed, broken cells, clean them up, give them hope, give them encouragement, give them a college degree, and turn them into beautiful cells like these. So let's get started. Now, before we get too far into today's video, lithium batteries are dangerous. So if you have not worked with batteries before, please don't take this as a tutorial of how to get started, okay? You're gonna burn your house down, okay? So if you have no experience with batteries, please don't use this as a tutorial to get started. So number two, these are brand new cells. I got these out of some of our high volume production packs that run on our assembly line here at PTI. When you're running, 3,000 or 4,000 packs a week, it's not worth it to troubleshoot the 5 and try to fix them that failed. So obviously I got the ones that had no cell failures. And these are brand new cells ready to go, perfectly good. I do not recommend doing this with old cells. If you have an old laptop battery that's failed and you want to break the cells out of it, don't do that. There's a lot of problems with using old cells. So these are brand new cells. Do not use old cells to do this. So the third thing is to voltage test your battery. So you want to take a voltmeter, make sure that they're in the correct voltage range. You may even want to capacity test them. Since I know these are brand new Moly P26As, all I did was voltage test them, make sure they're in the range with the other cells in the pack, and then I know I can reshrink them and reuse them. Now, this tutorial is for somebody who wants to do their own DIY battery pack. Even though I don't recommend doing your own DIY battery pack because lithium is so volatile, people are still going to do it. So you might as well try to help people, not burn down their house. So there's nothing worse than gluing up a cell stack wrong. And with cells being $3.50 and $4 a piece, you have to break them apart. They turn into something like this. What do? Well, today's tutorial will show you what to do when you've busted open a pack that you put together and you've got cells that look like this. The first step you're going to have to do whenever you take apart a battery pack is take off the old welds. Again, if you don't know what you're doing, do not attempt this, but you want to take off your old welds. So the first thing that I normally do is I will take some flat, either a screwdriver. I like to use an X-Acto knife. You want to very carefully lift up the end of the tab. See, just like that, lift up the end of the tab, because you want to take a pair of, I like to use side cutters, but you can use pliers or whatever. And what you want to do is you want to take and just roll. You can see that. You want to just take and just roll the tab up. And what you're going to do is you're going to break that weld. See, now there's going to be these little nodules left behind. Don't worry, we're going to take care of those in a minute, but you just want to take and roll your tab off of your battery pack like this. Now, do you see how the tab is going down right here? If you have another cell sitting right here, so if you look at the top of this, if you have another cell sitting right here and it's at a different potential, that tab will go over and short against that cell. So you want to make sure if you have too much tab on there, you can go ahead and just cut it off, get it out of the way, and then take and roll the rest of this tab safely. Because again, safety is the #1 priority you should have when messing with lithium packs. Now let's take care of all these little weld nodules. So before we get in too far into this, I do want to show you a bare cell. So all of this here is negative, all the way up to the crimp point. All of this is negative. The only positive point is this middle point. But if you can look, if you see the positive and the negative, this top of the can is negative and then the middle is positive. So you can see how easily and how close that is together. Well, let me show you what happens if you short it. So this is just a piece of fuse link wire that I'm holding with a pair of pliers, and I'm just going to touch the negative and touch the positive. See that? So if you short this point and this point, you're going to get a lot of arcs, you're going to get a lot of sparks. Sometimes if whatever you short has enough current capability, it will weld itself to the cell and you won't be able to get it off until the cell depletes itself and possibly heats up too much. So make sure that you're safe when working with the positive and negative on these battery packs. Now this is a step you want to do to one cell at a time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rock these cells back and forth and break that super glue, that cyanoacrylate that's holding them together. So I'm just going to rock them back and forth, and then your shrink will start to tear, and then you just tear it off just like that. And don't worry about this. We're going to replace all this, but you have exposed cells whenever you start to rip packs apart. So again, make sure safety is #1 priority. But the best thing I've found to grind off these weld nodules is a Dremel tool. Now, as primitive as it may be, a Dremel tool with a grinding wheel on it is perfect for grinding these off. So this Dremel tool here, this is a Dremel 3000, and it has 1 through 10 settings, and I like to use a number 5. So that's 6, back it down, I'm going to use a 5. Very carefully, and I'm not wanting to grind into the cell, I just want to knock these nodules off. So I'm just going to take and just like that, just knock the nodules off. I didn't grind into the cell or anything. Same thing on the bottom. Turn the tool off, and just like that, we have a beautiful cell with flat tops that we can weld back to again. Now let's take the shrink off. So I'm going to show you how to remove shrink on a cell that isn't already ripped apart. So if you have a whole cell like this that hasn't got a way to rip the shrink off, I'm going to show you how to do that. Now you want to be careful. You have your positive up here, and then you have your negative here, or sometimes specialty cells have negative here and then their can positive. But from here up to your crimp point is going to be the same potential. So what you want to do, I usually start about halfway down, and then I'll just take my X-Acto blade very gently, and I'm wanting to slice this shrink open. And see right there, I can go ahead and get my X-Acto knife in there and peel it up. Take and peel it up and slice it open. And now I can take my finger and remove all the rest of the shrink. Now, do you see this washer here? You want to make sure that when you remove the shrink, you hold on to this washer. This is important. You will need this when you go to shrink it back. So definitely do not lose this washer. And there we have a bare cell ready to go. You need to make sure that you're careful with this bare cell, because now you have no safety whatsoever. Now we're to the most satisfying part, which is the shrinking. Now, this is a UL224 VW-1 PVC shrink. It's 0.15 of a millimeter thick. I have it, it's 29 millimeters wide, about 71 millimeters long. So let's slide the cell down in it. Now, if it will not pop open, you can always take your X-Acto knife and just slide it in between the things and pop it right open, just like that. By the way, if you do not have an X-Acto knife in your artillery, let me tell you something. This is one of just the usefulest tools there is. It can do just about anything. It could be a screwdriver if it was a little tougher. So we're going to slide the shrink down, or slide the cell down, excuse me, into the shrink. Now, when I slide it down, I want to leave about 1/8 of an inch gap at the top, and then a little bit less than 1/8 of an inch at the bottom. So let's put our washer in here and take it over to the heat gun, and then we will shrink this cell down. This is a generic Milwaukee heat gun, and it's what we're going to be using to shrink our cells. So I'm going to get good frame here. I'm going to turn it on its lowest heat setting. So it's lowest heat setting, and I've got my cell here ready to shrink. Now, I'm going to put it in to the heat, and I'm going to take and roll it. I want to roll it around in the heat till all the layers have shrunk down. So just roll it around till everything has shrunk down very nicely. Again, with your bottom. If I wasn't doing this for the tutorial, I'd do it a lot faster, but I want to make sure you see it's shrunk. And then for the sides, I just pass it through, and then I turn it 1/4 of a turn, pass it through, turn it 1/4 of a turn, pass it through, turn it 1/4 of a turn, and pass it back through. And there we go, a beautiful cell shrunk and ready to be reused. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. I was able to salvage and reshrink all of these Moly P26As, and I have a special purpose for them. Because why else would you go through all this work to do this? Well, part of these is going to go towards rebuilding the Milwaukee batteries for the DIY BMS series, but also I have some fun things coming up. We're going to rebuild these 2 battery packs. So this battery pack is from a drill that we use here in the lab, and this battery pack is from a friend, and they've both failed. So we're going to take them apart, see why they failed, and then we're going to rebuild the cell sacks in them using these Moly P26A. So stay tuned for that. I'm excited for that. And special thank you to Protechnologies for letting me use their lab and all their equipment to make my videos with. If you follow me on LinkedIn, which you should, best LinkedIn profile there is, you'll know that I'm a battery management systems designer, and I design the BMSs that go into the battery packs we build here at PTI. So if you're interested in having our engineering team, including yours truly, design a battery pack from the ground up and then have our assemblers put it together and then ship it out to you, make sure you email sales@protechnologies.com and please tell them I sent you. Because Christmas is right around the corner and I need my boss to like me for bonuses. So be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel because the drill battery rebuild is coming. The DIY BMS series is about to wrap up. There's a lot of cool things coming down the pipeline for EET Engineer. I hope everybody has a good day, and I'll see you in the next video.